Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the BullParagon channel. We're going to talk a little bit today about strategy, about position sizing, and about when we want to extend a play and go a little more risk on, and where we want to be careful about our risk and our position sizing. So, in the Discord server, when you all hear me talk about the Discord or the Discord server, that's our Knights of the Round Table Discord. You guys hear me talk about this a lot. We've got some great pro traders in here, and we've added a lot of very intuitive tools through Tradie Ticks here lately, including some different commands where you can come in and set custom commands to pull information on net market flow for specific tickers for the overall market itself. There's just a lot in here, including some sweeps. We see the golden sweeps, which are $1 million and more for sweeps on big option positions rolling through. And then we've got the smaller sweep channel as well. So there's a lot in here, you guys. I'm going to encourage that you come by the Discord, say hello, talk to the pro traders, talk with all the new traders, collaborate. That's what we're all about. So, in the Discord, I've been getting a lot of questions lately during the trading day about position sizing and about how people are taking their different approaches. And I want to tell you that every trader has their own comfort levels and their own style. A couple of things that I like to look at all of the time, and I preach this. One, if you're in a position and your position is going the way you expect it, and you're looking for an exit, and you're constantly, is this the moment? Is this the moment? And every 5 seconds, you're looking for that potential exit. You probably have a little too large of position size, or you're on too short of an expiration date. There's something there that's making you that uncomfortable that you've got to reassess what you're putting at risk here. Um, that's one that we get a lot. And then the other one that I get a lot, and we were talking about this last night. Hey, you know what? I've got to get out of this position soon. I need a big move so I can get out of this. And I ask the traders, would you buy that same position right now? That position that you're in, that you're upside down on, and that you're getting that feeling, I need to get a rescue here. I need to get saved. If you looked at the chart, if you looked at the fundamentals that you look at, would you enter this position right here at this point? And if the answer is no, you need to cut that position and move on. Look for the next setup. Don't hold that loser until it becomes a bigger loser and a bigger loser, waiting for something to rescue you. Cut it and move on, find the next good position. That's something that is a struggle for a lot of us and takes a while for most traders to figure out, but that's something that you need to constantly be looking at. Would I enter this position right here? Would I tell my friends to enter this position? Would I advise somebody that this is a great setup? If it's not, move on. Things change. The charts change, the factors that we're considering change. If the situation goes against you, move on and find the next one. You can always go back into that same position, or you can move on and find the next one. So something I want to talk about with position sizing and how I'm looking at things. Now, you guys, none of this is investment advice. It's not me telling you what you should do with your money. This is just me sharing with you what I'm doing with mine and where my comfort levels are. So I've traded all types of ways you can trade, everything from trading with just shares for long and short positions, for trading zero DT options exclusively for a long time, to going through and playing those medium terms and finding setups. So you have to find a combination of things that work for you. If you are wanting to be a minute by minute zero DT trader looking at 1 and 3 minute charts, you can do that. Know your comfort levels and know how you want to set that up. If you're looking more at trades that are going to last for days and weeks, we're looking at higher time frame charts, and you have to find that right chemistry that works for you for what time frames you're looking at, what indicators you're using, and the level of options that you want to go with that, or just playing shares with that and making your positions with shares. So, with that said, my current strategy and what I'm doing now is looking at options that are 3 to 5 weeks out. I'm choosing the nearest out of the money. So Amazon yesterday was one that was at about $98. So I'm taking $97 puts. I'm buying them 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. They're costing about $5 per position, so $500 for a single contract. And that is where my base for my positions are now. I'm usually playing these in a 1 day, maybe up to 3 day position, but almost every position I'm getting out of at the end of the trading day. That's where my style is. That's where my comfort level is. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So in this sheet, I'm going to have this spreadsheet attached in the channel, along with some of the others that we have below. You guys have seen where I put in the one cancels other brackets, the quick covers, some of these different strategies that we look at. So in here, we're going to talk a little bit right now about sizing. So we're going to say, when I say units, units are an easy way to break it down because we're all trading with different amounts. So if you consider an account has 20 units to it, and let's say that those 20 units are $1,000 each. So this account is going to be $20,000. So we're going to say each unit equals 1K. So when we look at this, and this is where, again, you have to find your comfort level. If your account is $20,000 and you have 20 units at $1,000 each, you need to set in your trade plan that you write down every morning. How many units am I going to risk per position? How many units am I willing to have exposed at one time all together in the market between all my positions, and have your set trade plan? Me personally, I like to have one full size position that is going to be, in this case, about 5 units. Now, I might add to that, but only when I'm in the profit. If my initial 5 units are in the profit by 30%, I might add one or two more, but I'm going to keep my stop, my my exit in a profitable position based on my new cost average. So I don't mind sizing up, and I don't mind sizing up large as long as I'm making those incremental adds and keeping my stop at a point that I'm not going to get hurt, that I'm not going to see that loss. So when we're looking here at this one, we're going to say we're going to have 1 unit in this trade. So we're going to say 1 unit. Our DTE is going to be 4 weeks out. So we're saying 4 weeks out. And what we do with that, you guys, we're not going to have that same huge win that you get on a very short term, but you're also not going to have a big breakdown or big loss. When I'm looking 4 weeks out, I'm looking at a daily chart to find my setup. I'm watching a 30-minute chart to make sure I'm in a trend, and I'm using my 10-minute chart to where I'm going to find my exits and to verify my entry. So that's for me 4 weeks out with my expiration daily chart for setups. I'm using a 30-minute chart to verify my trend, and a 10-minute chart with my entry verification. And usually I'll exit on the 10-minute. I'm still looking at that 30-minute. I'm still watching others, but that 10 minutes usually my exit. I'm not trading on a 5-minute chart. I'm not trading on a 3-minute chart in this system. So again, we're 1 unit. Our DTE is going to be 4 weeks out, and I'm usually targeting the monthly expiration. That's why I say 3 to 5 weeks. Right now, our monthly expiration is February 17th. That's about a month out. I'll probably go with that for at least the next week, maybe 2 weeks. And then once we get a little bit closer to it, I'll transition. So this position here, we're going to say we had an entry cost of $1,000. That's our 1 unit. If we took a 10% profit on this, and you guys, I'm not targeting a set percentage for my profit. I'm not targeting a set percentage as a stop loss or a certain dollar. I'm looking at the chart and looking at the trade. Sometimes you're going to find a support level that's below your entry. And if you drop below that support, that's where we're getting out. Sometimes we're going to use the trend channels. That for me is a big one when we're looking at the trend channels. Right now, this is what I'm talking about, where we have a put channel and a call channel. It might be our trend channel, but you're going to have your chart-based entries and exits. I personally don't trade on, I'm up 30%. I'm taking this profit. I'm down 10%. I'm using that as my stop. I'm letting the chart play out and making sure I'm staying true to the merits of my trade plan. So this particular case, we had our $1,000 entry. We had our exit with a 10% profit at $1,100. That gives us a gain of $100 on this trade. And then I put these 3 profit buckets here. And everybody can look at this different and have their own style. What I like to do with mine is I'm going to say, okay, bucket number one is going to be my income. So we're going to take out that $50 as income. Coming straight out of the account, we can ACH it out every day. That's our income. I'm going to go with 25% in short term. I'm going to go with 25% in a leap. And I'm doing three things here with this. I'm saying, okay, we're going to take some money out because we trade for income and we want to make sure we're pulling profits out. Some people are going to take this income bucket and put it right back in with the initial account and say, you know what, now as I build up and pull from this income bucket, I'm going to get to having more units in my account. We're going to compound, we're going to build. I support that. I'm all for that if that's what you want to do as part of your trade plan. Other traders are going to say, you know what, I want to take half of my profits out every day as income, put a little bit on my bank account, put a little bit aside for tax at the end of the year. That's awesome. What we're looking at next is this short term is 25%. This for me is where I have my positions for my 0 DTE, my 1 week DTE. I'm only rolling with profits into those positions. And because they're such short term, I might have a 50% stop there. I might still be playing it on the chart. I might just buy the weekly and say, you know what, it's Tuesday. I'm going to go through today and buy some stuff that expires Friday with my profit. I'm going to set a 50% stop and I'm going to let it go. These are a little different. We consider these lottos a lot in the Discord. These are a little different than chart-based trades. These are like, hey, if this thing hits, that 25%, that $25 in this case, might become 300 or 400, and I might lose the whole 25. That's something that every trader has to have their own plan of what they're doing. For me, I don't mind the lottos when they come from a percentage of profit. Now they can go through and we can expand it and see if we get a big short-term gain, or we can let that thing go and um, leave it there. So the third one now, this is something new that I've been doing lately, is saying, okay, now let's take 25% of this trade and let's go and look at a leap that's further out. You might have something that you're saying, hey, you know what? Chosen in the Discord, Sir Chosen, one of the knights, has been talking a ton about these overvalued stocks. NVDA at 175 times earnings, for solar with ridiculous valuations. Some of these companies are going to should eventually have a major reset and come down like crazy. So we might want to look at some long-term puts. Maybe we're going to go January of next year and go a full 12 months out on these puts. And that way, when our move comes and that has that major correction, it might come next week. It might not come for 3 or 4 months, but we're putting small pieces into these long term. You might just take your leaps and use that to buy calls for an overall index, maybe the QQQ, maybe SPY, where you're buying those calls for further out. Some folks have gone through and said, you know what, Tesla was down around $100. They started buying their leaps for Tesla for a 150 or 200 for 12 months down the road, and those things are doing great now because it's had such a move up here in the last couple of weeks, and really covered a lot of that gap. So this, you guys, is just breaking down my strategy a little bit. A couple things I encourage here: write down your trade plan every day. Write down what your plan is going into it. Write down how much money you have in your account. Write down how many units you're breaking that into, how many units you're willing to risk per trade, at what point you will add, what point you will keep your cushion when you're looking, at what point you're going to say, you know what, I'm not going to have any more than 10 units of my 20 in play at any one time, any given day. Maybe your thought process is, I'm not going to put more than 4 units into any one sector. So maybe I've only got 4 units in energy. I'll put no more than 4 units in tech. I'll put no more than 4 units into something in the XLF in the financial sector. That might be another look that you have. And by writing this down every day, even once you establish what your plan is, you're going to do two things. One, you're going to remind yourself every morning before you go to start trading what that plan is. You're going to have that plan to look at throughout the day to make sure you're keeping true to your plan. And then the third thing is you're going to look at it for adjustments. You're going to go through daily. You're going to sit down at the end of the week and look at it weekly and say, what was my plan? What worked well with that plan? Where did I have too much exposure and got uncomfortable? And where do I want to make my adjustments? So these are all things that I'm encouraging you to write down that plan every day, come up with your plan for your system. What I'm looking at is saying, hey, I want to play my positions 4 weeks out. I'm controlling my entries based on the number of units in my account. I'm taking my exit and realizing the gains, and then having set buckets that I'm putting percentages of those gains into and going through. So that's just something I want to share with you all. Feel free to give me any comments, any suggestions. Come by the Discord, have a conversation, collaborate with me about it. If you guys see value here, I can put together a more detailed spreadsheet and we can set columns and everybody can set and filter it out their own ways. But just want to take a few minutes to share this with you. Again, it's been getting a lot of conversation in the Discord lately. Look forward to seeing you all there. You guys have the website link down below. It'll have Discord information. Thank you all for checking us out.